Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac Wellerlane, and I am just about to do a fascinating Zoom interview with stylist, best-selling author, and also TV host Delvon Johnson. Let's take a look at this very fascinating gentleman. Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac Wellerlane, and I'm inviting you here to my pink kitchen. And my very special guest for today is Delvon Johnson, stylist, author, and also red carpet host Delvon Johnson. Welcome to the show, darling. I want to read to my audience a little bit about you before we get into the questions. Delvon Johnson, author, TV, radio personality, and celebrity stylist, Delvon Johnson is the creator and host of Fashion, Etc. Known for coast to coast for his unique, eye-catching personal style, Delvon has worked with some of the hottest celebrities, including Karen Gravano of Mob Wives, love and hip-hop artist Atlanta's Mama D, and Shay Johnson from the Love and Hip Hop Miami chapter. Another fabulous city. I love Miami. Among many others, he's hosted fashion shows for major plus-size retailer Ashley Stewart and the iconic Fire Island Blackout Festival in recent years. Delvon's novels include Love Yourself First, Mirror Mirror, and he has enjoyed widespread critical acclaim. His latest novel, Invisible Rain, was released in January this month of 2021. And we're going to get to that later, but we're going to talk more about you first. It's just as groundbreaking as the others, sure to keep your readers captivated from beginning to end. Now, Delvon, welcome to the show, as I said before.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so honored.
Now, I want to ask you some wonderful questions. Tell my audience where your love of fashion came from.
You know, quite honestly, it's always been there. I've always liked to dress from my corporate world, you know, going to work every day, and up and into when I started writing the books, and then I started doing interviews on red carpets, which I really had to be dressed up then. So that was like really my. And when I started doing wardrobe styling, I just kind of took it to another chapter. Well, you know, it was funny. The first book came out, and I met who is now one of my business partners, Yvonne Forbes, and she had a company and she needed a stylist, and she took me under her wing, and I started to do styling for her for various fashion shows during Fashion Week. So that was where I began to get my experience as a stylist through her company, and then it kind of went from there. And a lot of my ethic when it comes to styling for others, you know, it's, you know, I like to sit down and talk to the person, get to know what, you know,
what
what
their personality is.
Exactly, because a lot of times, a lot of stylists just want to put people in what they want them to look good in, and that might not make them feel comfortable. But my ethic is to make the person want to feel comfortable in the clothing that they're in.
Well, naturally, I mean, if a person feels comfortable, and they will feel beautiful. It's,
right.
I mean, your interpretation of what you think they should look like is not always what they feel in their heart.
Exactly.
If they don't feel it inside, they're not going to project what they're wearing. I mean, you can wear a paper bag and feel glamorous. You know?
Yeah.
You have to own it. Exactly. You have to own it. Now, I also want to ask you, tell my audience, how many fashion weeks have you gone to?
Oh my gosh. Ha ha. Okay, so let's start in 2010. I think 2010 was my first one. So if you figure twice a year for 10 years.
So that's a lot of fashion weeks.
It's a lot of fashion weeks. And that's fashion weeks, not the shows during the fashion weeks.
Now, I also want to ask you, have you ever done any other fashion weeks outside of the United States? Have you ever gone to Paris or Milan? Have you ever done anything like that?
Unfortunately, no, I've not. I do anticipate doing so. I would love to do that, but I've not been able to do that.
Which one would you like to go, Paris or Milan or both?
Both, definitely both. Because I love European clothes. European clothes is my thing. So.
Yeah, but from what I understand, Rocco Gagliardi, he's been to all the fashion weeks all over the world. And he told me, you know Rocco, right? You know Rocco Gagliardi?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. He does Fashion News Live. He's a tall, good-looking guy, Italian, good-looking guy. You've seen him. And I said to him, which one is your favorite? And he said Paris, because the French just know about fashion.
It's really no holds barred. One of the designers that I worked for here in New York, Adrian Alessia, I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yeah, I've interviewed him many times. I love him.
Yeah, he has that European flair that he just does not care. It's that whole European thing. And working with him was just so much fun because he was just so creative and just letting it go. Let's just do it. Whatever.
Now, tell me, Delvon, how do you think fashion is going to evolve now after COVID?
Oh my God, I don't know.
I know, we're all scratching our heads here.
I tell you, 2020, I love fashion. In 2020, it was sweatpants, Uggs, flip-flops, tank tops, and sweatsuits the entire year.
Not me.
No,
darling. Well, of course, if I'm in my house and I'm clean, I clean my house. I don't have a maid. But if I'm in my house, I'm doing all these other things, I will wear something similar to that, comfortable clothes to, I'll wear leggings and things like that. But I still got, like I am now, dressed up. I still went out to dinner with my husband. And every day in the summertime, I went to the beach with a coordinating swimsuit ensemble, complete hat, the bikini, the bag, and the cover-up. So every day I had a different beachwear thing going on because I live across the street from the ocean. So I was able to, I was very, very fortunate. It was very uplifting for a person like me because every day I'm very chic, and of course I went to the beach every day, and I wore my beachwear and my hat, and because we don't want to make our eyes get those wrinkles underneath the eyes. But I started getting into the Zoom interviews, and that's really what has saved my life is these Zoom interviews. I do shopping on YouTube, shopping hauls. You have to subscribe to my channel. That's one of my requirements. Now that I've interviewed you, you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
I definitely will.
I do both. I do Zoom interviews, and I also do shopping hauls on Amazon and other shopping networks.
Platforms.
Yeah, like other things like Amazon and Shein and other clothing online businesses. But now I also wanted to ask you, you are also a famous author, and we just discussed that briefly before in your bio. You wrote 3 amazing books. Love Yourself First, which is the latest one, I think, right? Love Yourself.
That's the first one.
Oh, that's the first one. That's right. Love Yourself First, Mirror, Mirror, and Invisible Rain. Now, tell my audience the story behind Love Yourself First. How did that go?
It is it's certainly
and tell
interesting.
us what the book is about first. Tell us what it's about first.
Okay, so Love Yourself First is about 2 young men that start a fashion consulting company, and they start working in fashion, and this woman comes along. She's very fabulous, and she is in the industry, but she wants to create a name for herself that's bigger than as we all do. She wanted to create a name for herself, so she comes into their company, and they hire her, and she starts using them kind of as a platform to create that name for herself. And she does all of these deceptive things, and she's stealing their contacts, and all this stuff is going on. And one of
Sounds
the
like Dynasty.
it is very Dynasty, very, very much so.
Or The Bold and the Beautiful. I don't know if you watched that. The Bold and the Beautiful. Did you watch that?
That was years ago. I wasn't really a soap opera person.
It's still on TV, The Bold and the Beautiful.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I was definitely a Dynasty person. I actually have the entire 13 seasons. I had the 13 seasons of DVD.
And of course, you love Miss Joan Collins.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Oh, of course. Well, I've interviewed her many times. As I was telling one of the other guests on my show, I interviewed this actress, and her mother was a soap opera addict, and her mother used to watch ABC, all the soaps on ABC, and of course, All My Children was her favorite. But, So I've interviewed all the soap opera actresses that were my idols, including Joan Collins, and Robert Strasser that played Dorian on One Life to Live, and of course Susan Lucci.
Yes.
So I've interviewed all the divas from the soap operas that were my idols. But so this is interesting. This book, it sounds
so yeah,
interesting.
and what makes it kind of captivating is the reason I started writing. Well, I've always loved to write, and what was happening was I was in a relationship, and the relationship kind of went really left, and it was really a bad situation. I really wasn't sure how to express my frustration. So my goal began to write this book, and I was going to become a star from it in my mind. I was working corporate, and every day I would type away, and before I knew it, the book was written. I didn't know which direction to go, and once it was done, I self-published. Costed me a fortune to get it done, but I did. And then I was like, okay, the book is out, and then I had one book, and then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? And I had to go buy a whole bunch of books to sell. So it was like really a learning process. And this is it. That's the first book.
Yeah,
and it matches your house.
Pink! Well, every room in my house is pink, by the way. Every single room is pink in my house.
I saw your Barbie area. I saw your little. Yes, I saw it.
Oh, you saw what my house looks like. Well, it's on Instagram and it's also on Facebook. So now tell my audience about the second book.
So I never stopped writing. After Love Yourself First was done, which was also it was kind of a revenge book to my ex, because I wanted to get back at him. And in the acknowledgments in the first book, I thanked him for all of what he put me through, because without that experience, I would have never written a book. So I literally don't know what I would have done if we hadn't broken up and everything would have happened. But moving into the second book, I never stopped writing, and I continued the story. So the book stopped, Love Yourself First was done, and I continued the story, which had a different perspective, but it continued with some of the characters. And the second book is about a young lady who was an aspiring model, and she had a fiance, and she met a guy, and they became engaged. But in the process of that, she met that character that was trying to undermine the two guys from the first book, who's, again, very fabulous, lives on Fifth Avenue, has a big glamorous house and an Aston Martin and all that good stuff. And her fiance lived in that building. And they met, the aspiring model and the fabulous Joan. Her name is Joan. They met, and Joan took her under her wing to help her become a model. And in that process, she introduced her to a guy who could make her that model that she wanted to be, but for a price. So she had to decide, when I remember she's engaged, if she would want to take that road to stardom of being that model by sleeping with the guy, or if she wanted to just stay, you know, in the position she was in and be happy with her, you know, married life and what have you. And it was originally, the book, it's the second edition, it was originally called Be Careful What You Ask For. But then I wasn't able to promote it the way I wanted to at the time, because Fashion Etc. and Fashion and Fast Lane was coming about, and it didn't get the traction that I wanted it to get. So I re-edited it, brought it up to date to 2017, because it came out, the first one came out in 2012. So I re-brought it out, put Uber in it, you know, updated it to 2017, and I released it, called Mirror Mirror. So it's called Mirror Mirror because it's a reflection of Be Careful What You Ask For. And it's really, you know, the outline of it is really about the Me Too movement when you really think about it, because she really had to decide if she really wanted to take that risk. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you if she did or not, but she wanted to take that risk.
No, because you want people to read the book.
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose, you know, behind. But I love your concepts for your books. They're so juicy. I love it.
Thank you.
They're just like, you know, like Dynasty and all those great soap opera books.
Yeah.
I just love the concept behind it. Now, the latest book is what you just published.
Yep, just came out.
Invisible Rain. Tell my audience about this fabulous new book that you just published.
So now Invisible Rain is continues as it goes. So it's the same situation. It's some the characters from the first and second book are still involved, but then there's another perspective. And this character's name, her name is Tara Sawyer, and she is married to a CEO executive. His name is Mark Sawyer, and they are very wealthy. They live in Short Hills, New Jersey. And what happens is basically Tara she wasn't very fortunate in the way she grew up. Her mother was a struggling mother that fought her way to get her into college, but her husband came from money, and he kind of knew that he wanted to be with her because he knew he could control the situation because of his wealth or his family's wealth, and so he used that to kind of lure her in. And her mother was like,
seduce her.
Right, and the mother was like, "Oh my God, you got to go with him. He's great. He has money. Da da da. You know, we've struggled so long." And so they end up getting married, and he uses the fact that, you know, he's wealthy to control her. And so, for example, he doesn't like her to leave the house, or he wants her to do certain things. So if she wants to do something on her own, he'll punish her by taking away her credit cards, taking away her car keys, and, you know, say she can't go.
You seem to know a lot about these rich people and what they go through. I see all the clients you have. You seem to know all the gossip. Oh, I love it. Your books are juicy.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out who you're really talking about. You know a lot.
Well, some characters are fictional. Dwight,
it's based on some true people. I can see. You know
some of it, yes.
You know a lot of stuff.
One of the characters is based on me, actually.
Yeah, I believe it.
When I first started writing, let me say first, a lot of the characters are people that I know. And as I kept going, I started, you know, what's great about writing is it's like a canvas, and you're able to create and develop people, and you can just do, it's like painting, you can just do whatever you want. And
well, I'm going to tell you, that's true. And I'm going to tell you something. I have a very good friend. I don't want to tell you how old she is, but she's been around a long, long time. Her name is Monica Randall. She's a best-selling author, and she wrote all about the Gold Coast, the North Shore of Long Island, about all the magnificent mansions and castles that were built and these are people like the Vanderbilts. And she even got very friendly with the Hollywood, he's dead now, the Hollywood producer Dominic Dunn. I don't know if you know who that is, Dominic Dunn, but he's a very, very famous Hollywood producer. In fact, he made a movie with Elizabeth Taylor. It was called Ash Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay, and this movie, in the movie, Elizabeth Taylor, she got old. Her husband is Henry Fonda in the movie, and he decides that he's going to leave her. He's going to divorce her. So she decides to undergo major, major plastic surgery to make herself look beautiful again. And of course, you know, Elizabeth Taylor's so beautiful when she was alive. But they made her look old, they made her look tired, but then of course she looks sexy and glamorous again. And you have to see this movie. You would like this movie. But
Wednesday.
Ash Wednesday. I think you could even watch it on YouTube. I think you watched the whole movie on YouTube. And he produced that movie. And she told me when she first started writing this Monica Randall, she told me when it was difficult at first, but she really wasn't that good of a writer. And then as she started to write, get better, and you get better at it. Like anything else in life, the more you do it, the better you get.
This is the second one. This is
Mirror,
Mirror.
Mirror, Mirror.
And the Invisible Rain is here.
I saw the cover. It's glamorous as hell.
Thank you. You know, it was the last minute.
Hell. Now, let me ask you something. How are you doing with this book so far? I mean, because the only reason why I'm asking you that, because maybe now during the COVID, it might even do better.
Yeah, well, you know, I haven't really figured it out yet because the first shipment of books haven't come in yet.
Okay.
I've been taking pre-orders. So the book literally just went live January 2nd.
So we're going to talk about the red carpet, because when you do these red carpet events, as glamorous as they are, sometimes they're very hectic, they're very stressful.
Yes.
After people.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't look good or they don't look good because you're not standing in the right place or the right way or whatever. So the Zoom, like right now, you look spectacular. And I look gorgeous because I'm pink, surrounded by pink. So, you know, naturally, that's why I like the Zoom. But the one thing I miss about the red carpet, and I want to ask you that as well, is the party. I miss the party.
I do too.
It's the one thing we miss, right? You as a TV host and me as a host, that's the biggest thing we miss. Tell my audience, how did you become a red carpet host? Tell us the story behind that.
Well, okay, so while I was working with Adrian Alicia, he had a person, it was like a video guy, and the young lady was a VJ. And she just seemed kind of boring to me, the way she was doing interviews. And I was like, the same way I did the book, I was like, I could do that. Like, that doesn't look very hard. You know, you're talking to people.
It's really
I'm
not.
Sociable.
Right.
Why not?
The hardest thing is getting them, you know, you have to
open up.
Yes, and charming. You know, you have to open up and get them into to lure them into you so that they'll
exactly. And I'm pretty good at it. So I was like, okay, so I was at the Hammerstein Ballroom. It was Fashion Week. I think I had my phone or something, and I was with a friend. I said, okay, we're gonna do interviews. So I just went and I did it, and it was somebody there from one of the radio stations or something, and I'm just like, hi, my name is Delvon Johnson, and I'm here at the Hammerstein Ballroom for 2020 Fashion Week, and blah, 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 blah. And I went right in. And it was just, and next thing I know,
how it started.
Out there.
That's how it Me too. In the Hamptons, I'm hoping that things open up this summer again in the Hamptons, and I will be doing red carpets again.
And I've never been to the Hamptons. I've always wanted to come. I've never ever.
You'll love it. I want you to we're going to close this interview, and I want you to tell my audience, where can we go to find out more information about you as a stylist, you as a talk show host, and you as a famous author? Where can we go? What is your website, darling?
Okay, so my website is www, of course, dot Delvon Johnson. That's DELV as in Victor ON Johnson JOHNSON.com. So it's DelvonJohnson.com, and on there's all of my pictures with celebrities, and it's a fun page. It has all of my when I was on a radio show, a lot of interviews I did on the radio. It has some of the clips from the talk show. It has the link to the books, and everything's there. On Instagram, I'm Fabulous Book, and on Twitter, I'm also Fabulous Book. On Facebook, I'm my name.
Fabulous Book, I love it.
That's it.
Wow.
And I something you probably love as well. I just launched a new campaign called OMG His Heels. So this.
That's another thing. Thank you for reminding me. You are the person that wears those 6-inch heels better than anybody I know. How do you do it?
Very
I
carefully.
High heels, but my God, how do you do it?
Very carefully. But I was talking to a friend, and I said, for 2021, I wanted to do something different. And I wanted to be about self-expression. And, with all of what we went through in 2020, something that really was different and something that was just going to be who you are and do what you want to do. And everyone always, as you said, talks about my heels. So I created an Instagram page called OMG His Heels. And I started putting pictures up of me in my heels. So it's really taken off. I'm starting to get interviews about it. People are really interested. I'm gonna do today.
You're like Jean Shefroff with the ball. Jean Shefroff, she wears the ball gown. You wear the heels. Anyway, yeah. One more time, darling, before we close the interview. What is the website?
www.delvonjohnson.com.
You're gorgeous. And
Thank you.
You are welcome. And we will be back, darlings, with more celebrity interviews right here at Cognac's Clear Magazine. Pink Champagne Kisses. Welcome back, darlings. I hope you enjoyed my interview with fascinating author Delvon Johnson. He's also a TV host and a red carpet host, and also a fabulous fashion stylist. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and always press the notification bell button to know when I publish a new video. I always publish a video, darlings, on Sunday or Monday. So keep watching and don't forget to subscribe. Pink Champagne Kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One of a kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines, drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs, dazzling diamond jewelry. A girl can't complain. I live the upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.